All right, let's talk about something every business deals with, workplace conflict. But, for a small or medium-sized business, the stakes are just totally different. When you've got a lean team, a single fight doesn't just make a ripple. Nope, it can feel more like a tidal wave threatening to sink the whole ship.
So, before we get into the how-to, let's talk about the why. And I want you to really honestly think about this for a second. What is all this drama actually costing you? Because it's not just about some hurt feelings, it hits your bottom line. Hard.
And the answer? Well, it might just make your jaw drop. Look at that number, $3,216.63.
That's how much it's estimated to cost, per employee, per year, just in lost productivity. Now, start multiplying that by a few people on your team. For a small business where every single dollar, every single minute counts, that's a leak in the boat you just cannot afford to ignore.
So in this explainer, we are going to give you the complete toolkit. We'll start with those hidden costs, then we'll get into spotting the warning signs, we're going to cover how to prep, walk you through a solid 6-step plan, compare 2 key strategies, and finally, look at how to stop these fires from even starting.
So let's kick things off with Section 1, the hidden cost. Because trust me, the damage goes so much deeper than just lost work hours.
Unresolved conflict, it's like a poison that just seeps into everything. It absolutely tanks morale, it divides people who have to work side by side every day, and it can and will push your best employees right out the door. For a small business, losing even one key person can be a total disaster. And in the worst cases, things can escalate and suddenly you're facing legal risks you just don't have the time or money to deal with.
Okay, so we know it's really bad. That means the trick is catching it early. Let's jump into Section 2 and talk about how you can spot trouble before it spirals completely out of control.
You got to keep your eyes peeled for these red flags. See a sudden drop in output from someone who's usually on the ball? That's a classic sign. Same goes for high turnover or people suddenly calling in sick a lot more. In a small team, you'll feel that stuff right away. If your meetings start to feel more like boxing matches with personal jabs, or if your team just can't seem to agree on anything anymore, you've got a problem. Even just noticing someone has become withdrawn or moody can be your first warning. So what's causing all this friction? Well, check this out. You'd think it's all about big, important business disagreements, right? Wrong. The data is pretty clear. The #1 cause by a long shot, almost half, is just personality differences. People just not clicking. And right behind that, perceived incompetence.
Knowing what's wrong is one thing. Doing something about it is another. So Section 3 is all about getting prepared. And let me tell you, this is where you win or lose the battle, way before that tough conversation even starts.
Whatever you do, please do not just wing it. You need a checklist. First, get your facts straight. Gather actual evidence. Second, look at your own company policies, even if it's just a simple handbook you wrote. Third, get some backup. You might not have an HR department, so that could be a mentor or a business partner. Fourth, plan the logistics. Find a private spot and book way more time than you think you need. And finally, and this is so important, know exactly what a good outcome looks like before you ever walk in that room. And this quote from Akkas, it just nails why that prep work is so critical. If you don't prepare, you can have the best intentions in the world and still end up making things so much worse. Preparation is what gives you the control to steer the conversation towards a solution, not just more chaos. All right, you've done your homework, you're prepared. Now let's get to the main event in Section 4, a 6-step resolution plan. Think of this as your go-to blueprint for handling pretty much any conflict that comes your way. The first 3 steps, they're all about building a solid foundation to work from. Step 1, clarify the disagreement. I'm not kidding, you'd be shocked how often people are arguing about 2 totally different things. Your first job is to get them to agree on what the real problem is. Then, step 2, find a common goal. This is so crucial. It could be something as simple as, hey, we both just want to be able to come to work and not feel stressed out. Perfect. And then step 3, just discuss options. Brainstorm everything. No bad ideas at this stage. So then we get to step 4, and this is where you have to get real about the roadblocks. You have to honestly identify what's standing in the way, what got you here in the first place, and what things can be changed versus what things just can't. Acknowledging those barriers is the only way you're going to figure out how to get around them. And here is how you land the plane. After you've identified the barriers in step 4, you move right into step 5. Agree on the best way forward. This is where you actually pick a solution that both people can honestly say they can live with. But you can't stop there.
The final, and maybe the most critical step, is number 6, acknowledge and own it. This isn't just a handshake. You need each person to say out loud what they are personally going to do to make it work. That public accountability, that's the glue that makes the solution stick, especially in a small company where everybody sees everything.
Okay, but not all solutions are built the same way. And that brings us to section 5, where we're going to compare two very different approaches: compromise versus problem solving.
So first, you've got compromising. This is the quick and dirty method. Both sides give a little something up to find a middle ground and just end the fight. It's handy when you're short on time, but the thing to remember is that it's a patch, not a real fix. Nobody walks away totally happy. On the other hand, you've got problem solving. Now this is a much deeper, much more collaborative way to go. It's not about who gives up what. It's about digging all the way down to the root cause of the problem and then working together to build the best possible solution, a true win-win for everybody. And here's the bottom line. Compromising is a band-aid. It often just papers over the cracks, and the problem will pop up again later. Problem solving? Yeah, it takes more work up front, but it gives you a real, lasting solution. For the health of a small business, where you're in the trenches with the same people day after day, aiming for that problem-solving win isn't just nice, it's absolutely essential.
And that leads us perfectly into our last section, preventing future fires. Because really, the ultimate goal isn't just to get good at putting out fires, it's to create a workplace where they don't start in the first place.
And look, this doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's about culture. Encourage people to talk openly and actually listen to each other. Be super clear about what's expected behavior. Use your regular team meetings to really communicate. Go out of your way to promote respect and make sure you're giving good constructive feedback. These little things can make a huge difference.
And I really want to leave you with this amazing quote from author Amy Gallo. She talks about creative friction. This idea just reframes this whole thing, doesn't it? What if disagreements, when you handle them the right way, aren't actually a problem? What if they're the spark that leads to innovation and better ideas?
So as we wrap up, I'll just ask you this. Take a good hard look at your own business. Is the conflict you're seeing just a massive drain on your time and money? Or if you use the right tools, could it actually be an untapped well of innovation just waiting for you to tap into it? The choice is really up to you.